If you've used a Rival 100 or 110 before, you probably have a good idea of the Rival 3. They have made some changes though, so I'll go through those. First, the shape is basically the same. There's good curvature on the sides, with a thin front and wide back. Rounded top, and there are some nice little comfort curves in the buttons now. Really happy to see that change. To me, they feel much better. And speaking of the buttons, they sound and feel better to me as well. Here's a sound comparison and tapping and shaking it to check for rattles. It's up to you what you like, but I definitely prefer the new ones. Other than the slightly loose right button. No rattles, good tension on the wheel. I still don't think they have the side buttons right. These are too thin. The size of the ones on the 110 were better, but at least these aren't as loud. Latency wise, they're about the same as the G903 in my testing. The results aren't 100% accurate, but it's too close to care. They're good. The weight has dropped from 90 down to about 80. Could still go lighter, but that's a good weight. And the cable is slightly more flexible and a bit nicer, but still waiting on SteelSeries to use an extra soft cable. I had no issues in a bungee anyway. They've changed the shape of the feet, and they're also now super thin. They seem to glide well and they perform well in game. And I don't know why they've made the feet so thin, because the liftoff height is about 2 DVDs. We're pretty comfortable at about 1 DVD, so they could have just made the feet thicker. Sensor placement is toward the back, which doesn't bother me, and the performance in game is solid. Even the cheaper top opticals are seemingly flawless in game these days. We've come a long way. Here it is next to some other mice so you get a general idea of the size. I included the Viper Mini and Viper because it's in between them, and the Viper Mini would be competing on price, but they're a different size. The Rival 3 is bigger, which should make the choice easier. So checking the dimensions, the grip width is about 5.7 centimeters. The length is about 12 centimeters. And is about 3.8 centimeters high. The button height is quite low with the comfort grooves, at about 1.77 centimeters, which I think is actually good for aim. And as said, it's wider at the back at about 6.2 centimeters. I can kind of palm it, so up to 18 centimeters would be okay for that. Otherwise, between 17 and 20 centimeters could fingertip and claw grip it. By the 60% rule, it would suit 20 by 9.5. That's for a balance of aim and comfort, but for best aim, hands a bit larger than that in fingertip would be good. And usual software stuff, rebind the buttons, change DPI from 200 to 8500 in steps of 100, and change the colors. I just set a basic gradient for the review. Value wise, I don't think it's as good as the Viper Mini, but it is bigger so it's not really competing. Still a cheap and very good mouse. Worth a look if it suits what you're after. It's filling a bit of a gap in the mouse size market. Not a top tier mouse because of the cable, shape could be better, and some design issues. But nothing major or a concern, so if it is your kind of mouse, I'd be happy to recommend it. Looking forward to further improvements from SteelSeries. Special thanks to them for sending it out for review, and of course not sponsored or biased. Usual links in the description if you want to help support what I do, and subscribe, like and share this video, and I'll catch you in the next.